Hi, I'm Gary White for Central Kentucky Television. I'm at Farmers National Bank on Main Street in Lebanon, and we have some exciting news that we're going to share with you with the current president and CEO of Farmers National Bank, George Spraggins. But coming up on January 1st, 2016, Melissa Lee Knight here will be the first female president of Farmers National Bank, right?
That's correct.
Now, George, tell us how this transition came about.
Well, in the interest of trying to keep a locally owned and locally focused bank in the county, I've been observing our management process for the last couple of years. We do have some senior management, particularly in Jim Richardson, who is planning on retiring at the end of 2016, and he is already planning on slowly pulling himself out of the business to make a smooth transition to the next level of staff in our lending department. And I just thought that it seemed to be an appropriate time to go ahead and make complete changes at the executive level. So as of January 1st, I'm still going to remain chairman and CEO of the bank, but I'm relinquishing the title of president, and I'm turning that title over to Melissa, and she's going to be in charge of the day-to-day operations of the bank.
Great. So tell us, what does it mean to be the president of Farmers National Bank?
Well, first of all, it's very humbling to even be thought of to be able to do that, and definitely I have big shoes to fill. So I would start with that, and then secondly, I would say my most important role would be outward to the community, to continue to serve the community in the capacity that the Spraggins family has for so many years, and just play that important role there with providing, whether it's financing or support for the arts and other local activities, but also inward to the employees, just overall guidance, strategic activities, and then the daily operation of the bank.
Now, we had talked about it is a family-owned bank here with the Spraggins family. And the Spraggins family has been involved all 125 years, is that correct?
Well, not the entire history of it, but we've been involved for the vast majority of it. My first relative who became part of the bank was in the 19-teens. My grandfather started working here in the early 1920s. He remained with the bank until his death in 1986. My father had done some slight part-time work here while he was in college. He began full-time in 1957, and of course he worked here until his death in 2005. I joined the bank in December of 1994, and of course I've been here ever since.
So this will not be the first non-Spraggins president of Farmers National Bank, but it will be quite a while since a Spraggins has not been president, is that correct?
That is correct. My father became president of the bank in 1977, and of course I succeeded him in that position in 2005. Mr. Denny Clark was president of the bank between 1959 and 1977, and he succeeded my grandfather, who became president of the bank in 1950. So we have had a long, lengthy history with the bank. It's been a big part of our lives. As far as the ownership control of it, my grandfather and my father got control of the bank in the early 1980s, and we've tried to keep it a locally focused organization ever since.
But the history is being made that you are the first female president for Farmers National Bank. How's that feel?
It's very remarkable. I'm definitely excited about it and understand the weight of that as well. So I just hope to be a good role model for other females out there in the community, especially the youth. Certainly I started my career in banking in 1997. I'm not trying to date myself there, but as a teller. While I was working part-time in college, and then started here. Gene Spraggins hired me to be a marketing director, and I've been here about 13 years. So I've worked in many parts of the bank, and excited to work my way up and take over leadership as much as I can of the bank and do a good job with that. I've just really excited about working with Brad, continue to work with George to kind of take the bank into the future. So it's a very exciting opportunity.
We do want to mention that as well there is a new vice president as well. Do you want to tell us about that?
Well, we also, at our board meeting on Tuesday, Brad Mattingly joined our board of directors, And effective January 1st, he will also become the bank's executive vice president. Brad is in charge of our lending operations. He's been doing that now for several years. Well, he's been in our loan department for several years now. He came to us as our internal auditor. He's also a certified public accountant. He's a very sharp guy, has been outstanding with the customers, seems to have just really hit the ground running ever since we named him vice president of lending last year. And I can't think of a better person to install in that position in the bank.
Fantastic. Now, tell us, what is your vision for the bank going forward as president?
Well, like George, I feel like there's definitely still a place for community banks, and so we want to remain a strong part of this community, continue to contribute to that. When we announced this to the staff, I said, often banks can find themselves being revolutionary, evolutionary, or stagnant. We are very conservative and want to do the right thing by our customers and by our employees. So we don't typically find ourselves being very revolutionary because we want to provide safe and sound financial services. But we also don't want to be stagnant, so we'll continue to try to be evolutionary, do the things that we do very well and continue to do those things well, but look for opportunities where we can provide new technologies or new services to our customers. And so that's what we'll continue to try to do.
Fantastic. And now, what's the future hold for you going forward as well in 2016? You're still going to be here with the bank, but are you going to take on some other projects?
Well, as far as what I'm still going to be doing here, I'll still be in the bank on a regular basis. I'm still in charge of the bank's securities portfolio, and I'm still in charge of our trust department. I'll still be chairing the board meetings and being involved in that area, so I've got to stay abreast of the regular things that are going on within the bank. Hopefully it will allow me to leave before 8 o'clock in the evening on a few nights. It maybe indulge in a few other things, but I think the decisions that we've made as far as appointing Melissa as president, Brad as executive vice president, not only does it level out some of the workload there and give them some more responsibility, but I think it also kind of sends a signal to the community that we are committed for the long term to Lebanon and Marion County. We think this is a vibrant and growing community. There are many positive things going on here in terms of economic growth, and we intend to be a part of that, and we intend to serve our customers in this community for many, many years to come.
Great. Well, thank you very much, and congratulations to Melissa Lee Knight will be the new president, and it's the 10th president, is that correct?
That's correct.
10th president of the Farmers National Bank, and George Spraggins will be the chairman of the board and CEO. Who is the outgoing chairman of the board?
Well, actually, the last person to have the title officially was my father. We just haven't technically filled it, but that's going to be my permanent status going forward.
Great. And CEO?
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you very much. This has been Gary White for Central Kentucky Television.